I met Caitlin through Abby when we were all in middle school. And here's this loud, weirdo tomboy wearing athleisure before it was cool, and who just comes in my house and eats all my chips and won't shut up. and one of the first memories I had, as teen girls tend to do, we were coming up with a dance to the Guru Davadi song in the garage. And we were very serious about it. Anyway, she quickly became family, and I mean, she lived on the street, so it was very convenient. And her mom would page her when it was time to come home, and she would always brag about that pager. So, hashtag, yeah, that's elder millennial, am I right? And if you had told me then that 20 years later she would have such an impact on my life, I might have believed you just because you were like a missing piece. We were like three little codependent black sheep, and before long we had a crew of 5 black sheep types, and we called ourselves a sisterhood because little girls are kind of culty, you know? The sisterhood. Anyway, and then over the years, of course, there were conflicts, and but something I've always valued about Caitlin is that she has a willingness to always solve the problem. She's loyal, quick to forgive and move on, and so fights don't last long. And and she's always there to repair the connection, like that's the goal. And so anyway, these are qualities I know make you a great partner. And as you've heard during the wedding, Caitlin and Dan are a Tinder couple, and she swears she felt something different, you know, when she saw his profile, and she swiped right and asked him out like a modern woman. And now look where we are. Proof you can find love on Tinder. And mind you, this was her first date from the apps, and the first dating app even that you were on. And so if you have experience on these apps, you know that's crazy. It's crazy. And she skipped all the frogs. So I guess we can just chalk it up to you guys recognizing something rare and good when you see it. And early in the relationship, whenever she would talk to us about Dan, where at any point there could have been a red flag, it was just green flags, which again, baffling. You know, like, this man makes good decisions, it's interesting. But really, I think it, again, was something that you found someone who valued working things out and repairing the connection. So you guys are matching in that way. And Caitlin will often marvel at his patience and steadiness, and his own high standard of integrity. So things she didn't even know she needed, but she's very blessed and feels blessed to experience that with Dan. And these are why I know you'll be a good partner. Anyway, they are also a coded couple, and Caitlin moved in March 2020 and never left. But luckily it was an incubator for love, and but anyway, under the best circumstances, hard. So everyone, give yourselves a round of applause. If you also made it through lockdown, so another indicator of how I know that Dan was going to be a good partner for Caitlin was last year when we were visiting and meeting her for the first time. He planned a 5-hour campaign of Dungeons and Dragons for all of us to play, and it was flat out and like really creative and fun. And so I'm like, if this guy can create a fake storyline and world for a fake person and his, you know, girlfriend and her friends when they first met him, you know, I'm like, I feel like he's gonna be able to create a really adventurous life for the two of you. I'm just happy that you two nerds found each other. And so yeah, Caitlin and Dan, I believe in you two and your ability to always repair and cultivate your connection. And your story is beautiful, and it's just getting started. So cheers.
Hello, everyone. What? Oh, I'm Abby. Hello, hello. So when Kaylin said I had to write a wedding speech, I kind of spiraled a bit because most speeches tend to be a lot of like good relationship advice. And while Caitlin is a serial monogamist, I'm happily single. Sort of happily single. So I started this speech by writing what I, as a single person, think is good relationship advice. You know, it was ones like, you know, use positive reinforcement, right? Carry a bag of caramels in your pocket, and when they do something good, go, oh wow, someone gets a caramel, and just toss someone, right? Because, you know, everyone benefits. The dishes get done, and you get a little treat. So, so that was the best advice I could think of. I still think that's a great tip, but you can imagine it got a lot worse after that. So then I realized, you know, I've known Kaylin for over 25 years now, and somehow, with all of our differences, you know, we've made it through everything together. So that means I am uniquely qualified to teach all of you how to be Kaylin's best friend. So here's what I have come up with. All right. Make sure that she is fed regularly. Maybe keep an emergency fanny pack full of snacks on hand in case she gets hangry, which is not fun to be around, you know, if you've seen it. Oh, that reminds me. Someone gets a caramel! Just to make sure, just making sure. If snacks do not help, there are things guaranteed to make Kaylin laugh. These are very specific, so you might want to jot these down. All right, here we go. Quote anything from Parks and Rec, Ace Ventura 1 or 2, only the third Austin Powers movie though, gold member. Let's see, there's butts, people falling down, especially people she loves. You know, if you fall in front of Socks Appeal at the Mall of America one time, you're gonna hear about it for the rest of your life, so. Yes, it was. Still hear about it every time. Let's see, there's fart jokes, poop jokes, jokes about the movie Twilight, but only if you also love the movie Twilight. No haters, right? All right. Little animal hands, creating characters and doing accents for various bits. And bad dancing, which I'm sure there will be plenty of tonight. So take, you know, advantage of this friendship opportunity, right? All right. So you may have noticed that Caitlin tends to talk a lot. Well, I have found that occasionally it is necessary to just say, oh my God, please stop talking. Or the infamous, you have already told me this. This might sound harsh, but Caitlin herself will tell you that that's good advice. Many conversations with her tend to feel like, you know, double jump rope, you know, like waiting for the right time to jump in. But sometimes there's just no opening, so you just have to leap in there and get slapped with the rope. Fun fact, we recently compared notes, and we both had undiagnosed ADHD our whole lives. So we didn't realize that normal people couldn't talk and listen at the same time, you know? Apparently that's just us. So at the same time, so my bad, right? That's partially me to blame also for that one. Just know it's never malicious, and usually it's pretty funny. So just roll with it, you normies, you know? All right. On that note, one of her major hyperfixations, and the way to her heart, will always and forever be through the Lord of the Rings franchise. Always. Don't believe me? Hey, Caitlin, what were you texting us about exactly 1 week ago for an hour?
The Rings of Power?
That's right, The Rings of Power on Amazon Prime on Friday nights, the new Lord of the Rings show, right? Not bad. She used to fall asleep every single night to the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, and I would like to share with you a little bit of what that sounded like. At first, it's kind of nice. The Shire. Right? And, it was really nice when you fall asleep, right? And then, and you'll hear that, trumpets, drums, full men's chorus chanting. This isn't working as well as I hope. But you know, Khazad-dûm, Mines of Moria, and she would sleep through the whole thing. And I would just be left awake in bed, sweating and startled awake, and she would just sleep through that whole thing. And baffling. And I just, oh, and she has a tattoo in Elvish. And when she was ring shopping for Dan, he said to get something dwarvish. So, round of applause. Like, you must be so proud, families. These nerds found each other, am I right? All right, do not give her shots of alcohol. Caitlin is a lightweight and 3 glasses of wine, and before you know it, her lips fully purple, right? Body leaning, standing much too close, and dancing like this, which is her classic dance. Karaoke will be sung, and she's certainly not an alcoholic by any means, but her mother, Kathy, I'ma say it, is an enabler, right? Christmas at the Hawk House, and you'll all be dancing like this too, The wine is free flowing, am I right, Hawks? That's right. Too real? Two beers, what her and her mother were both called. You know why. If you're going to be Caitlin's friend, you better be ride or die, because she is loyal. And it's only fair that we all reciprocate as best we can, right? Because with Caitlin, win, lose, or draw, she's in the bleachers and you're getting ice cream after, That's right. Let me just put it this way. If Dan woke Caitlin up in the middle of the night, covered in blood, and said he needed help getting rid of a body, Dan would get one freebie. And no one would find that body, because Caitlin is organized. All jokes aside, I do want to say to Dan's family, I can't thank you all enough for raising a man so genuinely good in his heart that he doesn't have to make Caitlin feel smaller to make himself feel bigger. He's supportive and challenges her to grow and is proud of her successes, which as her friends is all we want for our friend, right? I mean, that's all anybody wants. There's so many things I could tell you about Caitlin. She is the best teacher, and every single student comes to her class and feels safe and heard. She's a fighter for other people, which is great. And a lot of you probably love her because she's fought for you, myself included. But I'm most proud of how she has fought for herself, which is no small feat. I'm no proud. She's creative, passionate, loving, joyful. And oh, by the way, she's about to go get her 4th degree. So, smarty pants. And that's what I admire about her. She isn't afraid of doing what's difficult, and I don't have to be married to know that marriage can be pretty difficult, right? When it would be easier to just give up, but I hope I have done my job and taught you all how to be best friends with Caitlin, because I know when things get tough, there is no one else I trust more to help me through it, and you'd all be so lucky. After all, faithless is he that says farewell when the road darkens. Guess which apostle said that? J.R.R. Tolkien, author of Lord of the Rings, am I right? So I love you guys. To the Foshings, right?
Let's give it up one more time for our wedding party, and especially